Hey, y'all, listen. What's today? Saturday. Happy Saturday. I hope you had a good holiday. I did. I went down to my brother's for the holiday. The drive there wasn't bad. The drive back wasn't bad. But unfortunately, I did see a lot of accidents. People have to be mindful when they're driving, especially you're driving long distance. And if you're driving in the dark, just get plenty of rest. Leave when you're ready to leave. Be prepared for traffic. Get happy if there is no traffic. And if you're tired, pull over to a rest stop, wait it out, and then continue to drive. Okay, so I saw a couple of accidents. One person said a deer ran into them. It's deer season, depending upon where you live or where you're driving to or through. They said from dusk to dawn or something like that, dawn to dusk, dusk to dawn, one of them. That's when those deer are really out and they're kind of out and about, just roaming, okay? Be roaming on the side of the highways, lurking in between roads and all of that. So just be careful. And I hope y'all all had a good turkey day for those that celebrate. And I hope you was able to have a good time with your family and friends. So listen, guys, we are going to have a quick trending topic tonight, okay? A lot has been going on. And as I stated, that unfortunately, a lot is going on with this Diddy situation. We're kind of going to be inundated with Diddy until after May 2025. The trial starts May 2025. In between there, I think we're going to be hearing about tons and tons and tons and tons of civil suits, right? Now, this is diva thoughts, okay? I don't know these people. I don't know nothing for a fact. These are diva thoughts. And we have out there, unfortunately, some people making stuff up, feeling that they're going to jump in on this bandwagon because right now they're thinking that, the money is in the name of Diddy. So if everybody else getting paid, why don't I just go out here and tell my Diddy story, get a civil suit out there, and when these civil suits come about, I'll be in the line. I'll be in the line to sue Diddy. The thing what people have to understand is, though, when you're signing on these court documents, you're attesting to the fact that, everything that you're writing and saying is the truth to your knowledge, right? That you're not sitting here putting 20 on 10. We saw, unfortunately, with that Dahlia Graves, right, in her lawsuit. A few days later, it came out that her math wasn't mathing. We got this girl out there, I want to say her name is Misha. She claiming she is the girl that was a teenager with that lawsuit, the one that was found as a Jane Doe. And, she had that D&G t-shirt on. She's claiming to be that girl. But if you heard anything about that girl speaking, her story is all over the place. Now, was another content creator where she did an interview with him. It was a mess, to say the least. And then in addition to that, she has been all over the YouTube streets, and the story doesn't add up. I don't care which way you put the roadblocks or how you link up the tracks, her story doesn't add up. So you got her. You got this Andrea English out there saying a whole lot of stuff. And there are, let me see, I'm trying to figure out how we're going to have this conversation. So do I believe that there is not one victim of Diddy? Of course I don't believe that. Why? Because we have some documented things that we can truly talk about where we know he had this propensity to violence. And remember Justin Combs, I want to say he went up to UCLA. And Diddy went over there and beat up the coach. And that's documented, right? I don't have to go allege. I don't have to say any of that. But he got a slap on the hand for that. I think he had to do an hour to a community service and say, I'm sorry. He probably paid him some money and it was a wrap. That situation was pushed under the rug, so to speak. But that I don't have to say alleged because he did get charged with that crime. He had to do some community service, pay some fines, and it was over. We saw the 2016 video with Cassie. We don't have to say alleged. We saw it with our own eyes. The video was put out on CNN, so we know there are victims out there, right? But the problem is these other people that want to put 20 on 10 on the story, and then the math don't be mathing, and then you're going to have to ask yourself when somebody else speaks, are they telling the truth? Are they doing a mathematical problem so at the end of the day they can get a payday? This latest lawsuit, and I titled this trending topic, it's called CLUELESS. Because I don't know if they're clueless, I'm clueless, or what the heck is going on. So it involves a balcony. The 17th floor. And a girl who is under 100 pounds, this is according to her, not Diva, is getting dangled over a balcony by Diddy. But we need to add to this. She said he was inebriated, he was drunk, high, or both. So, and he was crazy out of his mind. So, he's drunk, high, or both, crazy out of his mind, acting a monkey nut fool. This, and I'm paraphrasing, but according to her, is dangling her over a balcony. And I had to sit back and say to myself, so I get it. She's small. Says she was like 90 pounds or under 100 pounds. I get it. She's small. But let me do some stuff here. And y'all could talk to me. You got this Liam Payne, right? Who unfortunately, may he rest in peace. They said he was high. He was at the hotel balcony. He was trying to climb down. And he unfortunately fell to his death, right? So now you got Diddy, who she said is drunk, high, both, claims it was at the FO party, right? Comes there, he's crazed out of his mind to Cassie's apartment, and he's dangling her over a balcony 17 stories high. And I said to myself, I think even if I was not drunk and you got somebody that's 90 pounds, let's give her 90 pounds, and you dangling her over the balcony, I guess I'm gonna say to God be the glory, she didn't slip, drop, nothing. She wasn't screaming, kicking, and he was just able to hold her over this balcony, dangling her over. And then Cassie comes and says stop because her girlfriend's in the other room. And because there was going to be witnesses to his crime, he brought her back from over the balcony and then threw her into some patio furniture. And I guess at some point he left. So I'm guessing that not near a one person in this prestigious building ever complained about Diddy, the noise, Cassie, none of this. And nobody from that day complained about screams, this, that, and the other. Now, this story from this lawsuit, it is in Cassie's 30-page lawsuit from when she sued Diddy. And Tiffany read, she never named the person, but she also said Diddy dangled somebody off of a balcony. And now I guess we come to find out that it's this girl. Now, when I go through this story, I'm going to need y'all to write down some dates, connect some dots, hear some things being said, and y'all can let me know if am I clueless, or maybe the people that said thing happened to is just a little clueless. Now, I told y'all from the very beginning when they first raided the home, the trouble that the prosecution was going to have is not really having enough witnesses, but it was going to be them having witnesses that are willing to tell the truth. People in this Diddy situation, they're rewriting history, And when they rewrite it, they've been an angel or the superhero in the story. We all know that Diddy never did anything alone, and he couldn't have pulled off all of these FOs and all of the alleged violence and all of the substances by himself. He wasn't going on the streets of wherever, Miami, New York, Brooklyn, Bronx, wherever, getting said substances himself into the volumes that were allegedly used at these freak offs and everything else. So I need to know where these people at that was getting all of them. And it wasn't that recent drug mill that was arrested when he was getting ready to go on vacation with the twins. Right? So somebody was helping. Somebody was helping. So if she would have said that, this is just for me, that this balcony situation, somebody was helping him dangle her over, then I would be like, okay, all right. But nobody wants to tell on the helpers. Nobody wants to tell on the other people that were there. And everybody, the story is some version of the story, but it's a little bit twisted and the math is not math. And so right now I'm clueless. I'm not going to blame it on the people, but I'm clueless. But I'm clueless because their story ain't mathing for me. Not saying nothing didn't happen to her, but I'm saying pieces are missing, and they're key pieces that I feel that they know if they told those key pieces, they wouldn't have a lawsuit. They wouldn't have a lawsuit. So it is easier and better for them to remove some key pieces so that they can get their payday. But listen, I'm willing to take it if I'm clueless, but if I'm not, y'all gonna let me know. We're gonna talk about it. So this night, this tangent topics is dedicated to the title Clueless. It's the latest Diddy lawsuit, and we're gonna talk about it. Y'all gonna let me know how you feel after I go through all the connecting dots. Y'all know what I need in that chat. I need a what, because I'm gonna bring the people in the building. I need a choo-choo. All aboard, everybody. It is Saturday night trending topics, and we got stuff to talk about. The title is called Clueless. It's the 17th floor. It's a balcony, and someone was being dangled over the balcony, allegedly by Diddy. We got Tiffany Red that said, yeah, this story is so. We got Cassie Ventura, who named the story in her lawsuit. Dates are not matching, times a little shaky, in places as to where this thing happened at is a little sketchy, but we're going to get into it. Her name is Bryana, and she's a fashion designer, and she says she worked for Diddy and Cassie Ventura. Let me bring the people in the building. Hold on one second. Hey, Savannah.
Hey, Diva. Happy weekend.
Hey, Julius. Hey, Julius.
Hey, y'all. Hit the like button. Your favorite Popo Crazy Mod is up here on the panel and also in the chat. Hit the like button or else we going on strike.
Thank you, Julius. Hey, in my opinion.
Hey, Diva.
Hey. So listen, guys, let me just get into this story really quickly and let's have a chat about it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Hold on one second. Let's do this here. Let's share here. Okay. So let's share the article from Rolling Stones. Of course, there are several articles on this, but I'll go with the Rolling Stone article. Sean Combs accused of threatening to unalive a woman and dangling her off a balcony. So she's a fashion designer. Her name is Bryana, Bana, and I'm not going to botch up her last name, claims the music mogul once called himself the Devil and dangled her off Cassie's balcony in 2016. Combs has denied her claims. So I want you to hold on tight to that piece of information. The year is 2016. The place is allegedly Cassie's balcony. Are we together, y'all? A woman has sued Sean Diddy Combs for allegedly threatening to unalive her and dangling her over a 17th-floor balcony, according to court documents obtained by Rolling Stone. Fashion designer Bryana filed a 17-page lawsuit against Combs this week in Los Angeles for battery, infliction of emotional distress, and false imprisonment, among other things. Bryana is seeking $10 million in damages for the lasting emotional distress that she claims she has suffered. Bryana alleges that she witnessed numerous incidents of abuse between Combs and his girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, before the Bad Boy founder allegedly intimidated and threatened her. It all accumulated in a September 2016 night where Combs allegedly dangled her over the side of Ventura's balcony while screaming at her. Everybody got that. Keep that down. I need y'all to take notes. 2016, okay? And it was Ventura's balcony. Now, do y'all remember in 2016, September 2016, isn't that the alleged video from the Intercontinental Hotel where Diddy was tossing Cassie around? So I need y'all to stay connected with these dates and places. The only purpose of dangling someone over a balcony is to actually unalive them or intentionally terrorize them and rob them of any concept of dominion over their own bodily autonomy and safety. The lawsuit filed by attorney James claims that Miss Bryana refuses to allow this fear to control the rest of her life and brings this action to demand that Mr. Combs take responsibility for the trauma he intentionally and maliciously inflicted. Combs, who is currently being held without bail after pleading not guilty to sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy charges, firmly denies Bryana allegations. Anyone has the right to file a lawsuit regardless of the evidence that they may or may not have, a legal representative for Combs said in a statement provided to Rolling Stones. Since last year, Ms. Bryana has expressed an intention to sue Mr. Combs and has sought legal representation to pursue her claims. Mr. Combs firmly denies these serious allegations and remains confident they will ultimately be proven baseless. Bryana describes herself as a young, aspiring fashion designer when she became close with Ventura, while the two were both working with a popular Los Angeles store, Diamond Supply Company, around 2014. Through Ventura, Bryana met Combs, whom she believed could offer once-in-a-lifetime opportunities to collaborate with him in his business. Ultimately, it only led to terror and abuse at his hands, the lawsuit claims. So there, you know, she has some rights too, because when you are someone's employee and you are the employer, there's a whole nother set of rules that you must follow in terms of your working relationship. So she's establishing here that she was not just someone, she was an employee to Combs, right? Up until 2018, Bryana says she worked on several projects for Combs in his companies, including specialized Bad Boy entertainment jackets, the 2016 Bad Boy reunion tour, album covers, music videos, and a clothing line with Ventura. But working with Combs did not lead to the career boost that Bryana had hoped for, her lawsuit claims, but instead forced her to experience violence and abuse firsthand in professional settings as well. Now, let me back up here. I told you to stay connected with the dates. This incident happened in 2016 where he dangled her off a balcony. She continued to work with him because she said she worked with him up until 2018. Are y'all with me? I hope y'all with me, okay? So around this time, Bryana claims that she also began to recognize disturbing signs of an abusive relationship between Ventura and Combs, who would allegedly blow up Ventura's phone if she didn't answer his calls, showed up unannounced to Ventura's apartment and banged on her door and accused people of trying to F his woman. All right. There were numerous alleged incidents in which Bryana claims that she saw Ventura covered in bruises or with a black eye, which Ventura allegedly said were from Combs. Bryana claims she was physically present during one explosive fight where Combs threw a large kitchen knife at Miss Ventura, who, acting in self-defense, threw one back at him. Eventually, Bryana says that Combs began directing his rage towards her. During a photo shoot for Ventura, Combs allegedly cornered Bryana and inches from her face, threatened her. "I'm the mother effing double," Combs told Bryana, according to the lawsuit. "You have no idea what I can do to you. I could unalive you." Bryana said that she took the threat seriously, knowing firsthand that Mr. Combs was a violent man, referencing that she had seen of his relationship with Ventura and learning that Kid Cudi's car exploded after the singer had a brief fling with Ventura. Kid Cudi confirmed the allegation to the New York Times, saying this is all true. Bryana claims she also heard rumors that the billionaire had once skinned a rival's dog. Combs' alleged threat turned into reality on September 26, 2016. Bryana claims when she and her girlfriend were sleeping over at Ventura's Los Angeles apartment, Bryana says she awoke in the early hours of the morning to Combs violently shouting and banging on Ventura's front door. Bryana says she instructed her girlfriend to hide in the bathroom and lock the door. So you're hearing this? Keep the notes together. She instructed her girlfriend to hide in a bathroom and lock the door before Combs stormed into the apartment and advanced on Bryana, who by then was on the apartment's balcony. You knew this man was dangerous, and don't go low on me, y'all. I'm not victim shaming. We're talking here. We're working this through. You knew this man was dangerous. He comes, bangs in this apartment. He gets in somehow. You're standing on the balcony. If you told your girlfriend to lock herself in the bathroom and you know this man is dangerous, why didn't you lock yourself in the bathroom with her? I'm just checking people. We're just talking. Y'all could talk to me, okay? This is what she said. She instructed her girlfriend to hide in the bathroom and lock the door. We both would have been locked in that bathroom together. But somehow she ended up on the balcony. Combs allegedly grabbed Bryana, groped her breast as she tried to fight him off and yelled at him to leave her alone. Combs then grabbed Bryana by the armpits and lifted her up on the banister of the 17th floor balcony while repeatedly yelling, "Do you know what the F you did? Do you know what the F you did?" the lawsuit claims. A physical struggle ensued. She's dangling over the balcony, physically struggling. And to God be the glory, he never dropped her. While Bryana trying to get back on the ground, claims. But as she stands under 5 feet tall and weighs less than 100 pounds, Combs easily overpowered her. He immediately lifted up higher and higher over the 17th floor balcony of Miss Ventura's apartment, with only Combs' grip keeping her from falling to her death, the lawsuit claims. Ventura, who had been locked in her bedroom. So this girl tells her girlfriend, lock yourself in your bathroom. Cassie was locked in her bedroom. And why did Bryana was the only one that didn't stay behind the locked door? I don't know. But we're going to continue here. Ventura, who had been locked in her bedroom, ran out onto the balcony and screamed at Combs to stop, the lawsuit claims, telling him that Bryana's girlfriend was in the apartment and could overhear what was happening. Recognizing the threat of so many witnesses to his assault, Combs pulled Miss Bryana back over the balcony, the lawsuit claims, but he did not release her. In a last fit of violence, he slammed Miss Bryana into the balcony's pile of furniture, including a table. The September 26th assault ultimately proved that Miss Bryana was correct to fear Mr. Combs and has resulted in deep and lasting harm, the suit adds. Now, this was September 26, 2016, but yet she continued to work with him and Cassie until 2018. Let's continue. Ventura also references an alleged balcony incident in her settled sexual abuse and sex trafficking lawsuit against Combs. I'm going to go back to in time. I'm going to show you the part where Ventura mentions this, okay? Remember, we've been dealing only with 2016 and 2018 dates. Ventura alleged that after she was forced to participate in a freak-off with a male as worker, a severely intoxicated Combs picked up a woman like a child and dangled her over a 17th floor balcony. Are y'all still with me? He's severely intoxicated, picks this girl up, never drops her. But Ventura said in her own lawsuit over a 17th floor balcony. Now, was this balcony in her house or was it somewhere else? Because the girl is saying it was at Ventura's house. Miss Ventura and her friends were scared by Mr. Combs' erratic behavior, but Miss Ventura was heavily sedated because of the drugs she took to participate in the FO and therefore was unable to respond to Mr. Combs' terrifying behavior, her lawsuit alleges. But Bryana just told us that Cassie came out of her locked bedroom and said her girlfriend is here, but yet she was heavily sedated. Which one is it, y'all? Is she heavily sedated, locked behind the door, or was she not that sedated enough that she came out and said her girlfriend is in the other room, so you're going to have a witness to this crime if you keep it up? Bryana is now part of the group of 30 people who have filed civil lawsuits against Combs, all who claims Combs assaulted them in some form of dating back to the 1990s and as recently as 2022. The claim came from former Danny Kaye member Don Richard, producer Little Rodney Jones, working models, aspiring artists, businessmen, security guards, and people who say they were teens at the time of their alleged encounters. Combs has denied all claims of abuse through his reps. The 55-year-old is currently being held at the Metropolitan Detention Center, MDC, in Brooklyn since his arrest on September the 16th, Southern District of New York. Prosecutors largely built the criminal case against Combs on the alleged experiences of Ventura, who claimed that Combs forced her to engage in sex acts with male workers throughout their decade-long relationship. Combs has denied her claims and pleaded not guilty to 3 charges against him. If convicted, he faces 15 years to life in prison. Okay, so I caught you up pretty much with that story in the lawsuit, right? So now I'm going to bring y'all, please stay connected to the dates. Now I'm going to bring y'all to Tiffany Red. Let me just present this for you. Hold on a second. The friend that, actually, before I do that, let's go back in time. Let me see where I have this at. Okay. So remember, Cassie's case was 35 pages. Now, the rumors on the street said it was more pages and it named more people, but then it got narrowed down to 35. I don't know how about the rumors on the street, but I'm just throwing that out there for you, all right? So I'm not going back to all the way this whole case, but let's go to 101 to remind you of where Cassie spoke about this dangling over the balcony. The girl says 2016. Cassie says around August 2015. But we're going to continue. Around August 2015, for example, in the middle of a surprise birthday dinner for Miss Ventura's 29th birthday, Mr. Combs insisted that Miss Ventura leave the party and go to the hotel for an FO. When she expressed that she did not want to go, Mr. Combs had Miss Ventura cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him. After this FO, Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura went back to the hotel room that Miss Ventura was staying in, where some of Miss Ventura's friends was already hanging out. Mr. Combs was severely intoxicated. At one point during the night, picked up one of Miss Ventura's friends like a child, dangled a friend over the balcony of the 17th floor hotel suite. Miss Ventura and her friends were scared by Mr. Combs' erratic behavior, but Miss Ventura was heavily sedated because of the substances she took to participate in the FO and therefore was unable to respond to Mr. Combs' terrifying behavior. Are y'all following me? The girl is saying 2016. Cassie sent in her lawsuit 2015. The girl is saying that it happened at Cassie's apartment. Cassie is saying it was at the hotel. Are we still together? Y'all understand where I'm going here? We're working together, y'all. Let me get to this Tiffany Red. Hold on one second. Let me share screen. So let me go here. Let me show this.
So the person that was hung off of Cassie's balcony in 2016 after the hotel incident is a woman. It's a woman.
So now we back to 2016.
So the person that was hung off of Cassie's balcony.
Tiffany Red is saying that it was Cassie's balcony. It was 2016. It was a woman. And she's saying it was after the video we saw of the 2016 incident of Diddy putting his hands on Cassie. Okay. Now, oh wait, I did want to show another picture. Hold on one second. Let me show this picture. Let me go back to her Instagram. So once this girl did her lawsuit, Tiffany posts a picture. So this thing is all over the place, right? Tiffany posts a picture of her, Cassie, this girl, Bryana, and it said 17 stories up high on 9/7/15 with the homies. Okay, so that's Cassie, that's Bryana, that's Tiffany Red. Okay, and that's done with a picture off of the balcony where Cassie lived at the time. So let me stop sharing. Let me see what this is. Could there be multiple times that someone was hung over a balcony? Just asking. There could be multiple times, but they referring to this person as a childlike person, like he lift up like a childlike person. I think that Tiffany, Cassie, and Bryana are all talking about the same story. I think they got their times, dates mixed up. But I'm going to tell you what my deeper thoughts is, and then I'm going to go around to the panel. My thoughts is that not in necessarily a sinister way, but my thoughts are a lot of people were complicit, engaged in these freak-offs. And all of these people that engaged in these freak-offs were not unwilling participants. But then perhaps, you know how sometimes you can say, oh, I'll go to a party. oh yeah, we just gonna be hanging out drinking. But then you get to said party, you like, oh my God, they doing too much here. I'm out. So I think that at some point, maybe people was having fun. We just all doing each other and having fun, and we're all enjoying it. But then when it goes down the dark side, they're like, oh heck no, I'm out. But now when you want to get to suing, if you tell the whole story the way it really happened, then maybe people are not going to be so willing to give you a payday, so to speak. If you say, well, at first I was into it, at first I did this, at first I participated, but then XYZ. But instead, you want to rewrite history and remove parts of the story. And when you start doing that, the math don't math. One of them is saying it happened in 2015. One of them is saying it happened at the hotel. Another one is saying it happened at Cassie's house. One is saying it happened at the FO party. One was saying this one was too drunk to do this. This one was locked in the bathroom. This one was locked in the room. Then somebody came out. Too much is going on. The people are clueless with their own story. But the thing is, once something is written down in a lawsuit, I don't have to guess. I went right back to Cassie's lawsuit. She's talking about 2015. The girl saying 2016. Tiffany Red saying 2016. Tiffany saying it happened at Cassie's. This girl saying it happened at Cassie's. Cassie saying it happened at the hotel. What had happened? Savannah, your thoughts?
It's as you said, Diva, we're going to continue to be inundated with these stories and incidents that happened more than a decade ago, if they happened at all. I do recall there being and I'll just say a hood tale. I remember there always being gossip of an incident with Sean, even before Cassie's lawsuit came out. There was always rumors of him hanging someone over the balcony. It was because it was compared to the Suge Knight Vanilla Ice incident. But when he did it, what I recall, he wasn't by himself. His security bodyguard personnel were there as well, and it did happen during the time that he was dating Cassie. And I believe Kim was also around, if I'm not mistaken, but it wasn't Kim because I recall one of the radio stations alleging, was it Kim or because there was that rift between Kim and Cassie. I'm struggling with the why now, and these additional lawsuits, additional stories, and what it does, it just makes this whole case more of a circus and a spectacle, and I don't see where it helps put this monster away, because are there victims? Absolutely, absolutely, they are victims. I do agree and believe that Sean, and I've seen many incidents where he has been physically violent. If you recall the Sean Stout, when he beat him and his security personnel beat up Sean Stout, they beat that man to a pulp. They used weapons as far as like bottles and bats, and I recall him his interview. If the young lady with the nightclub incident, and her still fighting for peace and justice to this day. So is he a monster and guilty of being a menace? Absolutely. But sometimes I question us as the audience, as the lovers of music during that time frame. There were so many instances and so many people warning us that this man was just being a Tasmanian devil on the streets, and thinking he was untouchable and above the law, that we didn't hear their cries back then. And now, because of Cassie's lawsuit, which if it wouldn't have been for this lawsuit, he would have still been out there. Or even if he would have paid her whatever her and her lawyers initially wanted, which he denied, and then they released the lawsuit, would he still be out there? He would still be out there being the menace that he was. So I don't understand what is the end all game of this young lady. I believe that the incident did happen because it's been out there even before Cassie. But to a point, we're gonna by May 2025, we're gonna be so fatigued and tired of this. And I'm just afraid that it's gonna turn into a YSL point two. And it's just sad. Where the true victims will not see any justice because of all these Courtneys and Ariels, and even the district attorney who didn't have a strong case to begin with and brought it out, are really just showing their hands and not doing their homework, being sloppy, absolutely being sloppy.
Yeah. Oh, I appreciate you, Savannah. In my opinion, you're right. In my opinion, are you there? All right, I'll try to come back to Julius. You're up.
Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I can.
This is a hot, filthy mess.
Mm.
We've been hearing nothing but mess, and I just don't know how this case is gonna turn around when the new prosecutor does get confirmed coming after January 20th. I'm hoping for a cleanup and some order, because this case is all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to be honest with that. It's all over the place. It's a hot, filthy mess. And it needs to be orderly. It needs to be ran. It needs to get cleaned up. It needs to be organized, because it's a hot mess. Like, the math ain't math, and the analysis ain't analyzing the way it should be. And it needs to be cleaned up.
Thank you, Julius. Wayne, your thoughts? I don't know,
Okay,
Wayne.
I'm here.
Okay.
You know, do you think possibly maybe they just forgot, since it's been so long,
Mm.
that maybe forgot some of the details? I know they're important details, but I'm thinking it's possible they could have forgot some. And I don't know if this girl and Cassie corroborated their stories. You know, if they, because what would it be in for Cassie to make up something? I mean, she already got her money. What would it be in for her to make it up? You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not saying it happened or it didn't happen, but you know, the first part of the story when you read it, you said that she was drugged. The girl that was hanging over the balcony was, you know, on substances.
No. What the girl is saying is that her and Victoria were friends, that her girlfriend, the girl has a girlfriend, her girlfriend and her was staying at Cassie's house. And then, Diddy came in his rage, banging on the door, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was the girlfriend that locked herself in the bathroom. And she said Cassie was locked in her bedroom, and she was all drugged up and drunk out of her mind, so she couldn't really help this girl. That's what she said. Not that she herself was on substances.
Okay, but somebody wasn't, you know, like you said, Cassie said that Cassie was out of it or whatever. But I'm just saying, do y'all think it's a possibility maybe this stuff happened? They just got the dates wrong. You talking about what? Almost 10 years ago. if it was 2015 or 2016, you know. However, I'm just giving a little bit, maybe that happened, but at the same time, some things, you know, you don't forget. I mean, if you was hung over a balcony and you're facing your demise, I would think that's something you really remember. Okay. So I mean, I don't know, because there's so many of these stories coming out, you know, and you got to figure out who lying, who not lying, who's, you know, and this is a lot of this is like your word against mine. My word is that I only hardly know you. Your word is that this happened. How do they prove it? If there's no cameras, if there's no reliable eyewitness, like you said in the beginning, nobody was screaming, you know, nobody heard nothing while all this was going on. So, you know, I don't know if these people just jumping on the bandwagon for a payday or not. You know, if it really happened, it's sad. And if it didn't, it's sad to come lying on somebody. So I'm not saying either one of them. I'm just saying, could it be possible maybe it happened and they just kind of forgot some of the details? That's it.
No, and I hear what you're saying, right? But my point is details matter in situations like this, right? And it, to me, if it was at the hotel, then I'm gonna need this hotel to be on this lawsuit too. And I Diddy really traveled anywhere solo. Most stories you hear about the bodyguard was somewhere nearby. So, but not saying that it's not a possibility, but they said he was drunk, pissy drunk, and all of this out of his mind. So, did he drive himself to her apartment, and then he went upstairs banging on the door by himself? And then I guess he busts in, or he had the key, he gets in by himself. So my other issue is no one ever wants to name the co-conspirator in this situation. In my mind, his drunk, crazy self, even if she's 90 pounds, wasn't holding her over the balcony. The balcony story we heard last time, I really thought they said the person was hanging by their boots, right? It right. Well, he's done it before, driving while high. She said in the lawsuit. I have the lawsuit up. I could go back and look at it, but either way, though, he rarely drove himself anywhere. He always had these bodyguards with him. So in this incident, he did all of this by himself, and this was after. And remember, they said the FOs lasted days. Which one is it? Do they last days or do they just last a couple hours? So after the FO and everybody's all drunk, whatever, everybody left. Somehow Cassie got back to her apartment and then he got over there. Let me add this to what I'm saying. This is all fun and games until it gets in front of a jury and you got a lawyer that half went to a decent law school and you sitting up there and they're going to ask you questions. And unfortunately, when they ask you questions, they do matter. They're going to be like, well, which one is it? Was it 2015 or was it 2016? Did it happen in the hotel or did it happen in her apartment? Go ahead, Wayne.
You know, if any of these cases make it to court, you know, in front of a jury, I mean, is so much reasonable doubt there?
That's the problem. In civil suit, that doesn't really matter much. I believe the reasonable doubt, but against his criminal case, yes. Because I just see them trying to always connect the dots back. This is your lawsuit. You telling us what happened to Cassie is helping us how? They just say that he's a violent person. We know he's a violent person because we heard other stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
But I don't think a lot of them, I think a lot of them are going to be weeded out before they even get to court.
I feel that way too.
You know, because if Diddy is not even going to court until what, May of 25 or something like that? Mm-hmm. You think these cases are going to go before him?
They can't. They can't.
Right.
Not a civil lawsuit can go before this criminal case. They all have to fall behind it. Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right.
Thanks, Wayne. In my opinion, are you there? Okay, I don't know. In my opinion, is not there. But I just wanted to come when I saw this particular lawsuit. When I started connecting all the dots, I said, And listen, I'm not by any means saying that this story did not happen to this girl. I believe something happened, but I also believe that key pieces of the story is being eliminated. And why is it being eliminated? That's all I'm saying. So I believe that all of them were sleeping together. And in her lawsuit, she wrote, he kept saying, you know what the F you did. And she said he kept accusing people of sleeping with Cassie. Something is amiss here. Connect the dots if y'all following me. I think they all were sleeping with each other. I think that Diddy is an extremely jealous person. And listen, and none of this is an excuse for violence. I'm just trying to connect the dots in this story and wondering why they're not telling 100% of the truth. They're eliminating pieces. And they're eliminating pieces for a reason. And I believe they're eliminating pieces because they don't want us to hear about certain connections. That's my thought on this. So he's accusing people of sleeping with Cassie. All the girlfriends are there. And we're alluding to the fact of who was this person, where this happened, where this didn't happen. And I get it. And everybody wants to say, well, maybe we off by date, place, time, or whatever. Well, when you got somebody fighting for their life in a criminal case, you better get your story together. The math got to math. Because guess what? The prosecution can be light on you, but you got to understand that you got the defense that's going to get to come back behind the prosecutors and question you. And if they get a doubt in that jury's mind that you can maybe think, well, I forgot dates, but they can the defense team gonna say, but you're a liar. So it's just real messy. Anybody some last thoughts before I close out on this video? Tory Jones agreed. Tory Jones said they might not have been so drugged up. They might have been so drugged up they don't remember what year it was. I mean, half don't remember what happened 3 years ago. I mean, let alone something happened nearly 10 years ago. So Tory, and to everybody, the idea here is you can say around. You could say between 2015 and 2016. But you have some people that are quoting things for a fact. Tiffany Red said it was after the 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel. And let me add 2 more reasons why I'm telling you these dates matter. So when that 2016 video came out of Diddy actually putting his hands on Cassie, even though he wanted to claim he never did that, when that video came out, Diddy's lawyer, Mark, claimed that day had nothing to do with an FO. He's 10 toes down that had nothing to do with an FO. This was a couple that got into a little squabble. No FO happened that day. And, they got a little squabble and this, that, and that. And then she went home. He was 10 toes down that him and Cassie was at that hotel alone. So if you have this Bryana, and if this incident did happen on that same time that Cassie was beat at the Intercontinental Hotel, and they are saying that this was after an FO, that will debunk Mark Diddy's attorney's theory that beating had nothing to do with an FO happening at this time. So let me tell you what I do over here. I don't just I'm so inundated with putting the pieces together of this Diddy thing. I swear to goodness, now next life I'm going to law school. So that's why these dates matter. And yeah, we could say that, but you're saying what you're saying is a mixed bag right here, right? Maybe they were so drugged up they don't remember the year. Well, guess what a defense team is going to say? You don't remember the year, but yet you remember these other intricate details of what happened. So don't think I'm being a Diddy person here. I'm just telling y'all what's going to happen in real time in the court. So you can't remember a date. You can't remember a year. You don't know if it happened at the hotel or at her apartment, but yet you want me to believe the other pieces of your story. You got to tell me how you're going to make that make sense. Because I would tell my jury, if I'm on the defense side, just like they don't remember the date, they don't really remember what happened. They don't know who dangled them over the balcony. They don't know if they was dangled over a balcony or if it was a part of the illusion, because they was too drunk, high, or both. And now y'all want my client to get locked up for life over their sketchy memory. I'm not having it. So that's why the details on this matter, because it will connect some other dots that Diddy lawyer is clearly saying right now didn't happen. He's 10 toes down that there was no freak off in that Intercontinental Hotel the day that that video and everything happened to Cassie. So yeah, dates matters, time matters, and you remembering certain pieces of the story, it does matter, because it can either connect other dots or break other dots. Anybody else before I close out? So I want to.
It needs to be It needs to be organized.
It needs to be organized.
Because it's like it's like the analysis needs to be cleared up, and that's something that I'm hoping that the next person does who's taking Damien's position. Say what you will about who appointed him, I don't care. This needs to be cleaned up. The analysis needs to be clearer, and it needs to make sense, because it doesn't make sense right now.
It's not making sense. But I'm telling you what I think the sense that's not making is, the sense that's not making sense right now is because none of them want to tell how they participated in these freak offs. None of them want to tell that part, because they're afraid if they tell that part, then the part of us seeing them as a victim they think may go away. These are the dots I'm connecting in my head. And listen, I told you right here, don't nobody have to be on the train with me. You don't have to agree with me. But these are the dots that I'm connecting in my head. A lot of them participated in these freak offs willingly. They all was doing each other. And then things went left. And listen, I could say yes at 10:45, and then at 11 o'clock, I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm out. And people need to accept that no. But if you told Diddy yes, I go back to Cat Williams. Diddy wants to party. You got to tell him no. I think once you tell Diddy yes, and then you turn around and say no, all hell breaks loose. And you find yourself in a situation that you don't want to be in. But the thing is, I tell anybody, when you're telling your story, you got to tell the whole truth, even if part of the truth doesn't make you see you in a good light. Because we could work with the truth. But the minute you tell your story one way, and then later on, when the people put the pieces together and said, well, that math is not mapping, and then you got to really tell the truth, then you're going to look like a liar. And once you look like a liar, bingo, the other side, they got to win. So, yeah, I believe there was a dangling over a balcony, but I believe somebody probably helped. I believe something happened, but for some reason, I don't know why they don't want to tell where it really happened at. 2 people say her apartment. 1 person say the hotel. And then we get other information that maybe the hotel has apartments. But I don't think that there was an apartment in the Intercontinental Hotel where Cassie lived, because if that was the case, it would have came out already with CNN and all the rest of them that she was living in the Intercontinental Hotel on the 17th floor. But listen, guys, it's a lot to dissect. It's messy, and only time will tell. And I think as this case goes to trial in May, we're going to hear some more shocking stuff. It's going to be a lot to dissect. And I think a whole lot of names that maybe we will be shocked and not shocked is going to eventually come out in this case. This thing going to trial is not just a mess for Diddy. It's a mess for anybody ever connected to a Diddy party, innocent or not. Because indirectly, as other stories come out, names are going to come out. It's going to be inevitable. It's going to happen. And it's going to be shocking to many. But listen, guys, y'all know the routine. Before I close out, does anybody have anything last they want to say? We're all good. Go ahead, Savannah.
Yeah, where is his communications manager, his VP? Where's Natalie Moore? Where's the people that were on his team? Why are we not hearing from them? Or they not brought up in these lawsuits? Like what's his name? Frankie. He was the VP for the partnerships that Diddy did, and the chief of staff, Christina, the one that we seen when all this came out. What's his? There's so many that were on his team. How come we're not hearing about them? Or were they granted immunity, or what's going on with them?
I do know the last one article I read, a lot of them got immunity, and including allegedly KK. That was the house manager that everybody claimed was so sinister, the one that taught you to allegedly walk around with the fanny pack that had all the substances that Diddy was accustomed to utilizing, right, and using. So I heard that they gave her immunity, but like I said, if how you giving her immunity where she was the allegedly the devil's helper? So I don't know. I don't like the way this case, to have RICO charges, it has to be an enterprise, right? It has to be people that helped you. But how are we up with RICO and we have yet to know who the enterprise is, who are the people that helped him? It's like we're ignoring that. So Damien, he was kind of asleep on the job. Damien got caught with his slip down. So it is going to be interesting how this next person picks up this case and what do they do. I think Damien got a lot of slack for the way, this bail thing was handled. Fortunately, for many, they was like, listen, this man was not, Brandon Bell. I mean, the judge did what he had to do. And I also will say this. I think the judge, for your fellow judges too, it would have been even a big hot mess if you go against your fellow judges, so to speak. This thing is so convoluted and messy. But I'm interested to see how the incoming prosecutor is going to handle this. And I'm interested to know, when will we see part of this enterprise get brought charges against them, just like Diddy? It's like the YSL case, at least there, everybody was on trial. With Diddy, it's just Diddy. And we know there's no way, to the multitude of people that he allegedly harmed, there's not one case where I haven't noted, except this particular lawsuit. Every other lawsuit, they don't mention a person's name, but they say a bodyguard, or this, or that, or whatever. But this case, she mentions nobody else. Diddy came, busted this door down, drunk, high on both, and dangled her off a balcony. She was kicking and screaming, and he never dropped her. But he was drunk, high or both, and he never dropped her. I don't know. For me, just a common sense, 17th floor, I'm drunk. There are people that can't drive their car drunk. There are people that can't pass the sobriety test. If they get pulled over, they can't walk a straight line. She said, not me, she said this man was drunk, high, or both, out of his darn mind. But he lifted her up, held over the balcony. She kicking, screaming, whatever. He never. It don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to me. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but it don't make sense to me. Something in the story is not adding up. And then the girlfriend stayed, I guess, locked away in the bathroom the whole time. But Cassie ended up coming out of her locked room, and Cassie saved her. I don't know. It's messy.
And there's people that had to hear her screaming. I've always heard that there was a couple bodyguards or security on the balcony that stopped him and pulled her up. But so there's so many other witnesses that are not coming forward to this incident alone. But I'm trying to look up where's his other team. Why aren't we hearing those names and that players? So the case is what, 6 months away. Regardless of the DA stepping down, someone is still they still got to build this case against him, and witnesses have to be lined up and getting ready to testify. So I think there's so many holes and gaps to this story that we just definitely don't know. And someone like Natalie, she's the woman that stepped down quietly after the allegations came out, after the Cassie file came out,
Mm-hmm.
and she
Mm-hmm.
was his rep for 20 years. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
looking up some articles with her, and she said that she was in charge of the communication and reputation, both internally and externally, of not only Sean Combs but Bad Boys altogether. So she has some insight. That's why I was wondering, does she have immunity and turn state witness? Why are we not hearing about her? Did she go back to Australia? I'm trying to find Natalie. I think Natalie holds a lot of answers that we just don't know. And someone like Aubrey O'Day, who's been dropping hints about Diddy for years, I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't want to know who's testifying as well.
It's a
I don't
hot
want
mess.
to hear from Dawn. I really don't want to hear from Dawn, but I do want to hear from Aubrey and the other two. I think it was Andrea and Shannon, the other girls that were in Danity Kane, that I believe went through a lot. I think Little Kim went through a lot as well. That's why she morphed her whole body. Little Kim don't look like Little Kim anymore.
I don't know who
So I
it
think
looks.
she also went. I don't know who she looks like either. That's kind of she actually kind of scares me. But I think she has stories to tell as well. And
I think they all
someone like,
do. I think
yeah, I agree.
they all do, and I think unfortunately, they all knew about Diddy. I'll say that, right? They all knew about Diddy, but it's like, how do I now, in hindsight, with all of this coming out about him, what do I say? Especially at the very least, because what is this? This is 2024, right? At the very least, he's 54, maybe he just turned 55, right? But at the very least, we know that they all was at his 50th birthday party, and all of this stuff was going on for decades. So it was like people were complicit when nobody knew the Diddy that they knew. But once we all know the Diddy that allegedly people are talking about, now all the people like, oh my God, no, I'm not. I wasn't there. I don't know nothing about him. I wasn't around him. And I'm calling BS on that. There's no way they didn't know when they was at his 50th birthday party that this is how that man got down. They knew. Listen, if Wendy Williams knew, they knew. And Wendy Williams was never at a party, but all of these other people were. They knew. And now they want to try to sit in our face and act like why they don't know. Okay, why do we always question these victims? You know darn well Diddy is a despicable monster. A. McMill, here's the thing. It's not about why do we always question these victims. You gotta question people, because did you watch the Lionel B interview with the victim Misha? And if you go back to the original comments in his video, these people were ready, and they did. A lot of people sent me cash apps. They was believing her. They wanted a GoFundMe. They wanted to get her a lawyer. And I was listening, and I was like, how you getting somebody a lawyer that already put in a lawsuit with a lawyer? What people got to understand is because you question something, that don't mean you victim shaming or you don't believe victims. But you a fool if you never ask questions when you have a question when the math is not mapping on something. These people sent their good money to that Misha, and her story didn't add up from the moment I heard it. I didn't do a reaction video on that thing because one, he was like telling people at the beginning of his video, don't do a reaction video. But I knew once I saw her from part one, I said, the math is not mapping here. Oftentimes what happens with me over here on my channel, I could have said something first and said something wasn't mapping, and the people throw tomatoes at me and beat me down. And then 2-3 days later, when it come out, when another publication say it, they're like, oh, okay. And you know, I like to joke with y'all, and I say, yeah, well, Diva told y'all that 3 days ago. I told y'all when I saw the Thalia Graves interview with her lawyer doing a press conference, Gloria Allred, that the math wasn't mapping. What happened 48 hours later? The security card that she claimed did something to her with Diddy said he don't even know her, and he showed the DMs where she was trying to reach out to him, asking him to help her get Diddy. So what we gotta understand is every person that claims they're a victim don't mean they're a victim. And we got the right to ask questions. It would be like somebody accusing me of something now, and I ain't got the right to ask no questions or figure out, how do we know who's telling the truth and who's a lie? We don't until we start asking questions. That Misha tried to put Jag in her mess. Jag told her, I don't know you. But see what I'm saying, though? Thank you, Linda, for that. Yeah, I know that. Let me tell you something, though, Linda. If you go to her original interview, the amount of people that was saying they believed that chick and was cash apping her, one place she was at, they cashed apped her so much, Cash App wouldn't take no more cash apps during that day. Cassie lawyer is extremely credible. He wouldn't make up a case. Who said that Cassie lawyer made up a case? And this girl does not have the same lawyer as Cassie. And so here go credibility for you, A. McNeil. Let me share a screen here, because I don't just say stuff out of the side of my neck. I say stuff after I research stuff. Let me go back to the Cassie lawsuit. This is Cassie lawyer and the Cassie lawsuit, number 101. This is an actual document, not something Diva made up. It's 35 pages. 101, she said around August 2015. Around August 2015, for example, in the middle of a surprise birthday dinner for Miss Ventura's 29th birthday, Mr. Combs insisted that Miss Ventura leave the party and go to the hotel for an FO. When she expressed that she did not want to go, Mr. Combs had Miss Ventura cornered by his security staff in order to force her to leave with him. After this FO, Mr. Combs and Miss Ventura went back to the hotel room that Miss Ventura was staying in, where some of Miss Ventura's friends was already hanging out. Mr. Combs was severely intoxicated, and at one point during the night, picked up Miss Ventura's friends like a child and dangled a friend over the balcony of the 17th floor hotel suite. Miss Ventura and her friends were scared by Mr. Combs' erratic behavior, but Miss Ventura was heavily sedated of the drugs she took to participate in the FO and therefore was unable to respond to Mr. Combs' terrifying behavior. This is not Diva putting 20 on 10. Her lawsuit said 2015.
Diva,
The girl said, hold on 1 second. The girl said 2016. The girl said Ventura's house. The lawsuit said over the hotel balcony. Yeah, we got questions. Because over here we read and then we have questions. Julius, did you want to say something?
Yes, so I want to make this a general announcement. Um, if y'all don't like Diva's perspective because it's ruffling your pearls and it's making you clutch your pearls, guess what? You can move along and I can help you and I can hide you from the channel. Guess what? We tune in every day because we want to hear her perspective. We want to go over the evidence. We want to have the best understanding possible of the evidence. And we want to have the best thought process that we can. If something is not mathing, guess what? We're not victim shaming. We're going to call it out onto the carpet and we're going to call it what it is. So I'm going to say again, if you don't like the perspective, you can move along, stop the foolishness, and we can help you with that. Period.
Thank you, Julius. Katrina, did you have any thoughts?
I missed the beginning, Diva. What were we talking about?
Okay,
I'm
no,
sorry.
it's okay because thanks for supporting, but I'm about to close out. So listen, Savannah, did you have anything before I close out?
I just wanted to say that if we didn't question, some of these lawsuits and allegations, we would be stuck with fools like Ariel and Courtney, and them making this a more of a circus than it actually needs to be, and hurting chances for the real victims to get justice.
Talk about it. I forgot all about Courtney Burgess, who claimed he had 8 videos. 8 videos. Then at one point he said there was 3 minors, 2 minors, then there was 1 minor. Then there was none. Then out of all these 8 videos he allegedly had, he just trashed them. He never watched the whole thing. He thought it was demo tapes that he was given. A whole lie. A whole lie. So who don't question what?
Oh yeah, it's another thing. You have to question people on accusations they put out. Remember the lady that drowned her kids in her car, and she said it was a black person. Well, if they didn't question her and put her through the ringer, another black person would be in jail. We actually did try to arrest a black man, and she was the one that did it. So yes, you have to ask these questions to get to the full facts, because people will tell you anything just to get away with something. So yeah, all these questions need to be asked, y'all. But that's all I got, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Yeah, we gotta ask questions. So out of a lot of these people that came out, we got Andrea English. People were pissed when I went through that lawsuit too and said her math wasn't mathing. Go back to my video. I said when we read her lawsuit, I said the math is not adding up. This girl said, Andrea English said out of her mouth in her lawsuit that from the moment she met Diddy, she was with her boyfriend and he wanted to have relations with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend said, hell no. And they still went and worked for Diddy. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. So Diddy on the onset disrespected your boyfriend and you, and y'all still go work for him. And then when you work for him, he did all these sad things to you. You had the stop sign from the door and you still went go. I said when we read her lawsuit, I said, this don't make no sense to me. And what happened? Now we out here and she all over the place. All over the place. And her lawyer dropped her. Now the lawyers that dropped her is a whole nother story in and of itself. When we initially read the Little Ronnie lawsuit over here, I said the math ain't mathing. I got beat down because I was allegedly victim shaming. What happened? Little Ronnie and his lawyer had to go back and clean up that whole lawsuit, ordered by a judge. No, over here we question, over here we read, and over here we let the people know. Let the people know when the math is not mathing. Not saying this girl never got hung over no balcony, But I'm just saying, the stories from the 3 people that are all witnesses is not mapping. And that's a point blank in the period. But I'll come back to y'all when we got the article out there where the professionals tell y'all the math ain't mapping. Anyway, guys, listen, I appreciate y'all coming through for this Saturday Night Trending Topics where the title was Clueless. Y'all know what to do. Y'all can still chat with me. And when y'all chat with me and I see it off of this video, I will chat back. Thanks for watching. Good night and goodbye, everybody. Choo choo.
Hit the like button, people.